be bringing just energy, raw. I met him a few years ago through the Soapbox open mic, kind of drifted away, and just recently reappeared, ready to bring it back to audiences. And new works, old works, all good stuff. It is my pleasure on behalf of the Valley Contemporary Poets to present this evening Jason Pinkerton.
Woo!
Like many of you, I write for the catharsis. I feel like too many people just kind of bottle up what they have inside, and it ferments in them, their frustration, their anger, their sadness. I hope you are all in a good mood because this is me just letting it out. When I say I write poetry, most people expect it to rhyme. So I'm only going to introduce these first two because they rhyme, and then I'm just going to barrel through everything else. Communism. Be my communist lover. I want nothing other than for you to beat me senseless, then back to my senses. Force me into sweet, surreal domination, my body your willful nation. Revel in my mutilation as I discover such extreme adoration. Let us be a red scare. Bathe me in your mud-thick sin, vomit filth crawls under my skin. Watch it seep out my pores, I'll be your dirty whore. My soul is so relieved. Wrap my wrists in barbed wire, tell me I'm your only desire. I know you're a liar, but your words elevate me ever higher. It may only be a false love, but darling, you're a drug. Oh no, my heart is cracked and still beating, I think I'm bleeding. Lick my wounds with your disgust as I fall deeper into lust. So unhealthy. Shall I cleanse myself of this addiction, boil my skin, then scrub it raw? I'm still dirty with this affliction. The second rhyming poem, Broken Roses. Daddy'd come home with flowers almost every day. I love you, honey, he'd always say. Onto Mama's lips, then he'd plant a kiss, talk about his day, how much she was missed. Daddy was always so nice, kissing and sweet-talking her. Mama said I was lucky to have such a father. You know, Daddy liked giving roses, they symbolized his love. Mama should be kept happy, he said. She's a gift from above. One wrong word and he'd apologize for hours, and next day bring home a dozen extra flowers. And they were always the prettiest kind from some expensive place, always going in our most splendid vase. But sadly, flowers became so few. Arguments would start and last an hour or two, and then they'd always fight, always yell, telling each other to go to hell. And then one night Daddy got mad from so much rage that he left all his anger out of the cage. His fist was like a hammer against her face, as if his love for her had been erased. He brought Mama roses the very next day. I love you so much, I need to say, I'll never do it again, I promise you that. But my daddy wasn't lying, right? Each time he hit her, it would always be worse. Oh, I just fell again, Mama would tell the nurse. You know, Daddy loved Mama, he told me he did, and that I wouldn't understand because I was just a kid. But I couldn't comprehend why I saw not another rose, or why Daddy always gave Mama another bloody nose. Now the only roses I see are the ones on Mama's grave. Daddy got too mad for me, and her life couldn't be saved.
Ouch.
Millions of years, trickles of water carved until majestic canyons were formed. Likewise, creation for lifetimes upon lifetimes sculpted until a perfect beauty was born. Indeed, you were. An emotion meant for adults, and yet toying with it, we were still children in its eyes. A subtle grace of your finger carved your name on my heart like the tree where we first kissed. I, weakened by a love meant to last for an eternity, but forever was packaged and delivered by next day air, and you were off, carving your name elsewhere at week's end. Sometimes I get in trouble for not saying the things I should. Ram your hand down my throat like you're stuffing a turkey. I am one after all, and rip out some vocal cords. Tie them to some wood and play it like a guitar. Even out of tune, the music will spell out the words of the emotions that I never told you how I felt. There really is love in here. I swear, it's just trapped under some fallen debris. Pound me in the head and knock some sense into me while trying to knock the love out of me. Maybe you can see it clinging to the brain matter flowing out of my fractured skull. You've always hit harder than you should. I deeply apologize for being your disappointment. So very ashamed that I let you down. I guess I just ended up being the lover that my mother raised me not to be. Here, to make it up and show some form of affection, I'll gladly rip out my heart and put it in your palm. But you should probably wrap it in rice and seaweed and eat it like sushi. A meal is more filling than my love. Just be cautious of the toxins that arise when eating raw meat. Maybe you've had a hookup or two. These are poems about the hookup. She struts through the mall wearing her barely there miniskirt like the flashing neon vacancy sign in the window of some motel, where you just know that the sheets smell and the rooms are dirty. But as I catch a glimpse of a pale pink crease of ass, I can't help but wonder if it would be mini boxes of cereal or Danishes in the morning. Only when steam encroaches upon my reflection do I undress. Making a dirty pile of underwear and esteem at my feet, my ugliness just a sweating blur in the mirror. I break a nail trying to scratch you out of my skin as I step into the shower. Against raw wounds, water is acid, burning like your scathing indifference. Just an hour ago, I had put my hand to your chest, but before I spoke, you just unbuttoned my Levi's and said, I know. You took me in your mouth, feeding your hunger with my body, sucked me empty. I cough up my disappointment as the steam strangles me, unlike your hands, leaves no bruise. These tears were not joyous, but you lapped them up thirstily. This is never the me that I want to give. It's all you ever take, laughing as you spit me out. Black water always spirals down the drain after being in view. What is it that brings me back? Your filth or the catharsis afterwards? Whoa. We don't need a safe word, but maybe some ground rules. There will be no kissing. Don't make me aware of my shame by looking me in the eyes. Yes, it's good to see you again, but I don't care about your day or how you're feeling. Just take off your clothes. Wait a minute. I'm going to go back a minute. Don't make me aware of my shame by looking me in the eyes. Yes, it's good to see you, but I don't care about your day or how you're feeling. Don't even start. In fact, let's not even speak outside of the long sighs and short slaps of skin on skin that we interpret like Morse code. Just take off your clothes. Or rather, just pull your pants down far enough so that I may slip inside. Getting comfortable is for lovers, and I don't want to be misleading. No, you cannot use my pillow. I don't want to risk waking later and finding your hair, smelling your scent. This isn't about making beautiful memories. Isn't about the foundation of something lasting. Isn't even about the survival of our species. It's nothing personal. But this is about the now. It's about giving in to our carnal desires. It's about having something other than our own hands bring us to climax. You don't even have to fake it. I'll get mine, and yours is not my priority. However, even if I am just the utensil to your orgasm, we will not spoon. Cuddling will keep you here longer than necessary. Pillow talk violates the rules. I'm sorry if you thought otherwise, but this is not making love. The most beautiful thing about tonight just may be watching you wipe the remains of me off your lips. And I apologize again, maybe you deserve better. But the sweetest thing I may do tonight is walk you to the front door. Or rather distract the roommates long enough. Long enough for you to avoid introductions. Long enough for you to sneak out. Long enough for you to avoid that moment when you realize that you are not my girlfriend. Merely my dirty laundry. I'm now really an asshole, I swear. When I was 13, The only man that I had ever known as father cheated on my mom. I wrote this to him at 13. You played a part customarily given by nature, but to you by law. And love you deserved thus received until you your duties forsook with a sin. You were left standing alone. From compassion I cried for you. Your loneliness once was enough. Enough to wash from me faint love felt for you forever. For I read about your ancestor in Genesis, a slithering one. You carried his spirit well. Enabled you to slaughter your family, sacrifice them on the altar of your greed. History, instantly insignificant. What a mistake you made, killing bodies and not spirits, for your victims live again. While you expect love and forgiveness, they seek penance, and the jury finds you guilty. Eye for an eye, atonement for sin shall be paid. The executioner awaits your blood. It wasn't the best of relationships. There have been homes. There will be homes, but this we called our home. Now I scrubbed the walls with my tears, removing the stain of lust, like prepping a corpse for a wake. Too soon strangers will trample through our vacancy. Packing is the saddest of exercises, the visible decomposing of our life together. What was our scent now reeks of formaldehyde. These walls now house a funeral parlor. Cardboard boxes, coffins to our past. Handled with care, some are scrawled. A fitting dirge. We are history, reduced to scattered artifacts on Goodwill shelves. The headboard bangs against the wall in a rhythm syncopated, the floorboards creaking. A backbeat driving her passionate screams of jubilee, of raw ecstasy, of primal pleasures. She's a one-woman gospel choir praising God more than I've ever heard in church. Oh, Jesus! Oh, Jesus! Oh, Jesus! She is filled, but not with Holy Spirit. Foundations are being tested as knickknacks fall off the dresser. A crucifix crashes to the floor like it's the second coming. At this point, maybe even the third. And now she speaks in tongues. And I'm breaking a sweat, my throat is parched. But I don't dare go get a glass of water, no. I just lay here, listening fervently as the couple in the apartment next door fuck away into the apocalypse. Yep. Too ashamed of my loneliness to even masturbate. Sometimes someone leaves you and everything feels dark. Stockholm Syndrome. There's a darkness about me. You were my light, and now you don't even believe in me. You are the sun, the aurora borealis, fireflies dancing on a summer night. You are a street lamp, a stoplight, the xenon in my car's headlights. You are the fluorescent bulb dangling from my ceiling fan, the single LED blinking on my keychain. You are the flickering flame of a candle lit in a power outage after an earthquake. You illuminated my life. But now that you've walked away, only darkness follows me, a black hole that sucks up and destroys every argument thrown at me. Hey man, you'll be all right. She just wasn't the one. There are other fish in the sea. Are there? You know, I was fumbling around in the dark last week. I tripped over my loneliness and scraped my knee on a broken dream. And not to sound like a baby, but it really hurts. And not to sound childish, but it's kind of like a boo-boo that only a kiss from you can make feel better. But you see, truth is, wounds like this are all over my body. The day he shot me, Cupid didn't have a measly bow and arrow. No, he had an AK, and I'm the victim of his drive-by. I forgive him because he had the best of intentions, but damn it. I think my love for you just might kill me. I'm not one for math, but I fell in love with your geometry, seduced by your angles and curves. I wanted to get lost in your fluctuations and solve for X and Y every time you would lie down next to me. You were more than a drug, but I was riding high. You were my ecstasy. I loved you like there was no tomorrow. And even though I know better, the sun will rise again. With you gone, I'm not so certain that I will rise again. You were my best friend. I could look in your eyes like two crystal balls and see a future where I'm an old man and you're an old woman, but together we walk hand in hand. But like 1984, the ministry of truth has erased you. And all I have left are visions of me, an old man alone and holding myself. They say you can kill a man, but you can't kill his dreams. Just look at Dr. Martin Luther King, but to be quite honest, you've killed mine pretty efficiently. I loved you like the glue holding together my sanity. And maybe I'm going crazy, and maybe they need to come in. But I'm starting to feel like I don't want to leave this darkness, because after all, it is the last thing you gave to me. It's like Stockholm Syndrome, and I am the victim. A cripple caught in a limbo where I'm too weak to live, but too strong to die. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you so much, it seems, that I would rather lay prone and paralyzed in your darkness than walk upright in someone else's light. As I leave for work without fail, I see you every trash day pouring through my refuse like a modern 49er before the garbage man arrives. I frown, feeling overdressed in my freshly washed attire, your appearance born of a landfill wearing other men's junk, body foreign to cleanliness, face unknown to a shave. Surely there's something I could do. But as my discarded bottles and cans are tossed into your shopping cart, I can't help but smile, thinking, drinking more beer would almost be like charity. I know winter is a little far off, but I'm going to read a piece about Christmas because it is my best friend's favorite piece. Ho, ho, ho! Just look at him sitting there, waving, wishing everyone a Merry Christmas as if he's some sort of magical deity sitting on his golden throne. It always marvels me how many mothers migrate to this mall en masse, endure ridiculous waits and wasted gas, circling the parking lot over and over and over, just to find that perfect spot. Also, they can stand and get another line full of all the other mothers with their screaming progeny, so they can get a picture of their child on this man's lap. A stranger's lap. At least he grew into character and grew a real beard. But it wouldn't be surprising, though, if he's a dirty pedophile or some other sort of sexual deviant and his suit is extra large, primarily to hide his raging erection. Or maybe, just maybe, he really is the kid-loving, grandfatherly type who can't have kids of his own because he's shooting blanks or his wife is barren or something. Sure, they could adopt, but you can't really raise a kid making minimum wage working as Saint Nick in the mall. For the kid's sake, I hope the truth is innocent. But I bet this bearded behemoth of an old man has pictures of every kid that ever sat on his lap, lined up like wallpaper in his room, and every night he beats off to them. Hey, don't give me that look. I work in this mall, and every day I see the rudest of people push, shove, insult their way through crowds like rabid animals, foaming at the mouth, ready to rip off the face of anyone daring to get in the way. While waiting in long checkout lines, these people complain that Jesus was even born, because they had to go out and buy gifts for friends and family they don't even like. All the while, children are lied to about why they shouldn't lie and instead behave all year long. Engage in good deeds, not for the good of the deed, but in hopes of a bigger present under the tree. This is what the holidays are about. Christmas brings out the worst in people. I'm sure Santa's no exception.